When we kick off this show and we hit that countdown and the intro begins, that's always the hardest part of the show, because you got to come with that energy. You got to set the tempo and all that. So the easy part is here. I'm about to introduce the panel that we have here on the show right now, starting with my co-host Zay in the building, in the mansion. Okay, Zay, what's going on? What's the vibes looking like? I
Hey,
assume it's great.
the vibes is always great. Unfortunately, can't be in paradise. There's always a little bug that happens in every sport, and that's the injury bug. And somehow, some way, the Mets found that early on. First was Edwin Diaz, then it was Quintana, and now we got Justin Verlander on the injury reserve for the not the foreseeable future. They're saying hopefully he get reevaluated sooner than later, but he's injured nonetheless. And that's one guy down, another guy down at that. But other than that, everything else is great. No lies again because Julius Randle out for the remainder of this season, so everything is
Whoa,
not
whoa,
great.
whoa, whoa. Oh, not playoffs.
Remainder
Not
of the
playoffs.
season, the
Regular
season.
season.
Yeah, not the play. The
Oh, okay,
regular
okay.
season, remainder of the
I almost
regular
clocked out.
season.
It was about to be a wrap.
He will be reevaluated right before the playoff game. The playoffs start April 15th, NBA playoffs, and he'll be reevaluated on the 13th to see if the ankle is ready to go. But the injury bug is hitting New York pretty hard. It's unfortunate, but other than that, things are great. Sports is picking up. First day of baseball still going on. Pretty great, showing a lot of exciting games. The pitch clock is actually paying its dividends, making the games faster and more entertaining, and it's not taking away from the values of baseball, which is very important. Um, Things are great. Can't complain. I can't wait to talk about the show today. It's going to be an outstanding one to say the least. But of course, we got Dean.O in the building. Talk to us.
What's going on, guys? Always a pleasure to have me on the show. And just like Zay said, it's a great opening day. I don't know, all bias aside, I don't know a team that had to make a bigger statement today than the New York Mets after Verlander goes down today to the IL. We go out there, Marlins tie the game, three apiece in the fifth inning, come back, get the dub. Nimmo 2-run double, and the bullpen giving up 0 runs in 3 innings. That's what we love to see. Stepping up in the absence of Edwin Diaz. Great win for the Mets. Celtics are doing great right now, so I really can't complain. We got some good topics today on the show, and I cannot wait to get into it.
And I got a messed up toe right now. So the injury bug in New York is crazy. Okay, it's crazy. But at the end of the day, we're gonna move away from New York right now. We're gonna move on to the NFL to start this show because we got to talk about the hottest topic in the NFL by far. It's been a very, how can I say it, a very interesting, polarizing, fascinating topic for this show as we made a living off this topic right here. I mean, you talk about how many times we talked about Lamar Jackson since that fiasco with the Ravens have started, and now it's at its climax right now. Yet again, we have another topic to talk about. As we all know, this week the owners in the NFL met and they had meetings and interviews, and we got a lot to take away from those interviews. So, after the interviews concluded with the owners, is Lamar Jackson injury history, trade compensation, or contract price tag responsible for the lack of league interest? And Zay, the mic is yours to kick us off.
After further research on Lamar Jackson's wants, what he requires for him to get signed, and what he is looking forward to, I believe right now it's the contract price. The report recently today came out and stated that he doesn't want fully guaranteed money. He just wants a big portion of it, a fully guaranteed, bigger than Deshaun Watson's contract. And that is just as similar as getting 250 million guaranteed straight out. Is it a very expensive contract? He wants more than Deshaun Watson. He believes he's more talented and more gifted than Deshaun Watson, and he impacts winning more than Deshaun Watson, and that's why he is requiring he gets paid as such. He wants to get paid like a MVP of the league. A lot of teams are not willing to pay him that price. A lot of teams are not willing to pay many people that price, if we're going to be completely honest. I think if Josh Allen was available, he wouldn't even get that price tag. There's a lot of guys in the league that do not get that number. And I know people look at Patrick Mahomes But you can make the argument. No, you are going to make the argument. Patrick Mahomes is the best quarterback in the league. He takes his team to the Super Bowl, AFC Championship, moves on one damn ankle. He deserves the $50 million a year guaranteed. Matter of fact, he probably deserves $100 million guaranteed for what he means to that Kansas City Chiefs offense. Lamar Jackson, he's just in an unfortunate situation where a lot of teams do not have the cap space to give out or have that quarterback position not filled with a younger player. You could make the argument that if Mitch Trubisky was still a Chicago Bear, that the Chicago Bears would have went in and paid Lamar Jackson whatever he wanted. But since they got Justin Fields out there, they're willing to wait it out. They're willing to try to build around them, put assets around Justin Fields to see what can happen. So they're not going to pay Lamar Jackson. The Atlanta Falcons, they're not willing to gut their assets and move pieces around to pay for Lamar Jackson. I think right now is about guaranteed contract. I believe if it was down to like, let's say $200 million guaranteed, I think teams would be lining up at the door to sign Lamar Jackson if it was at $200 million guaranteed. But the fact that he is seeking a Deshaun Watson contract or more than what Deshaun Watson is getting is where teams are unable to do so. They're not willing to go that far. You can make the argument that the Cleveland Browns were extremely anxious, extremely thirsty to go after a quarterback. And they paid Deshaun Watson everything and more, despite him not playing a full year, despite a lot of different factors. And that is the reason why Lamar Jackson is not going to a team of his choosing. Teams are not going after him. Is because what Deshaun Watson did that kept him out for a full season and a team paid him all that money. And this is what we're seeing in Lamar Jackson's not value, but what teams are trying to do with him. They're not going to sign him because Deshaun Watson didn't set the market. He actually made it to the reason why quarterbacks don't deserve the money. He's the reason why guys are not going to get paid $50 million a year, $250 million guaranteed because of the antics he pulled, got the money, and then now his productivity doesn't match the contract he was given. Granted, he played 5 games at the final season, end of the season. But I don't think there's going to be a situation, especially with Jalen Hurts. I don't see a situation like that where he'll get Deshaun Watson type of guaranteed money. He didn't set the market. Deshaun Watson didn't set the market. He basically took advantage of an inept franchise organization not knowing how to do correct business and just threw all the money at a talented quarterback because they had no other option, because they were not capable of doing their own due diligence and getting the proper contract set. So I think for me, is not injury history, is not trade compensation after doing further research, is that Lamar Jackson's contract price tag is way too high for any teams to match and get it.
Dean.O.
I do have to agree with Zay. I do believe it is the contract price tag. You look at his injury history, yeah, he did get hurt this year, but at the end of the day, the man's a talented quarterback. He brought a lot to the Ravens. They had some good playoff runs. And I just believe that it is the contract price tag. He's asking for a lot of guaranteed money. And a guy coming off an injury, do you really want to give someone coming off an injury that much guaranteed money to a new team right off rip? It comes with some risk involved. But I do have to ask the question to some of these teams, such as the Dallas Cowboys, the Atlanta Falcons, the Carolina Panthers, which it seems like they're drafting a quarterback now, so I guess things happen. But some teams like that, you really content with someone like Dak over Lamar Jackson? Like, I got to ask some of these teams this question. How about the Commanders? Are you content with what you got over Lamar Jackson? What about the Detroit Lions? Are you content with Goff over Lamar Jackson? I don't know. I feel like some of these teams, if they really are serious about winning, they want to take a risk, they will go and try to get Lamar Jackson because he's a very talented individual. The man can play ball. The man can run. He can throw pretty decently. And I don't see how you wouldn't want to take a chance on him when he's still young. Because when they get older, their value is going to go down strictly when they run, because the running quarterbacks, they tend to last less in the league, such as Cam Newton, for example. So you look at situations like that where he's still young, and yes, he did just have an injury. However, why would you not want to take the chance on someone like him where he could possibly take you to the next level with giving him the talent around him? Specifically, look at the Dallas Cowboys. Everyone last year around Dallas and everything was saying that it was Dak's fault why they lost that game. And Dak's contract is up next year. So are you going to let him walk, or would you rather trade and get Lamar Jackson out of it and then sign Lamar to a longer deal? If I'm the Cowboys, I'm going out and getting Lamar Jackson. If I'm the Patriots, Leel, I think should go out and get Lamar Jackson. Meek Mill said, "Hey, get him over here," to Robert Kraft. He's talking about it. Why don't we go get Lamar Jackson or something? So I mean, the Patriots need that box office player now. Ever since that Brady's been gone, they don't really have that quarterback. They had for that 1 year with Mac, but then they lost in the first round of the Bills. Patriots need that box office quarterback, and Lamar's that dude. So you look at that's a handful of teams just off the top of my head who should go out and inquire about Lamar. And the fact that some of these teams aren't, I feel like that's a little rough right there. Might not be good business, but his contract price tag definitely doesn't help matters, but it can't hurt to try.
I mean, look, those were good takes, right? I think for me, I think it's both. I think all of these things except trade compensation is the reason why Lamar Jackson doesn't have the market that he thought he would have had, and why he doesn't in reality have that market. Like, of course, there is an injury factor. We've seen it time and time again. When we have examples to go off of, we use those examples for knowledge. That's why you hear the term you learn from previous mistakes, because you see it. You have that on file and say, okay, I see the blueprint. I know Cam Newton at a point in his career got shot down. His body broke down and he couldn't be the effective quarterback that he once was, the MVP quarterback he once was. We've seen it with other guys, Michael Vick. We see it time and time again. We know Lamar Jackson's prototype. We know what he's best effective as, which is a running, quarterback, more so than a passer. Yes, I think he has improved as a passer, but he's more effective. You take his running ability away and strictly keep him in the pocket, is he a $250 million guaranteed guy? We don't know. I can't say yes or no because I don't know. But we can go off an opinion, and I don't think so. Now, you also take in consideration the contract and the guaranteed money. That's the biggest conundrum here. That's number one. It's the contract and the price tag, number one. And I think when you talk about just understanding how contracts work in the NFL, I'm not going to sit here and make it seem like I'm the contract aficionado here, because I'm not. But I do study the contract a little bit more as of late. And I think once people study the contract, they will look at this topic a little bit differently and how the contracts work in the NFL. Because a lot of people, Dujane Bland, salute to him, he came on the show and he said that Deshaun Watson got $250 million guaranteed. The contract was set, the market was set. No, it wasn't set. Not the guaranteed portion that wasn't set. When Kirk Cousins got $84 million guaranteed, it did not offset the market. It offset the yearly salary, but not the guaranteed portion of the contract. And this is what it comes down to, the guaranteed portion of the contract. So Deshaun Watson got $250 million guaranteed. Now, guess what? He didn't set the market. He didn't upset the market. Why? Because you look at Kyler Murray, he got a 5-year, $235 million contract, but only $103.3 million was fully guaranteed. Russell Wilson signed a $245 million deal with the Broncos. Only $124 million was fully guaranteed. That's less than Deshaun Watson's fully guaranteed contract. So Deshaun Watson did not upset the market in fully guaranteed deals. And I think Lamar Jackson misinterpreted the market. And that's the problem here. You have to look at it like this. You have guaranteed, you have guarantees, and you have fully guaranteed. Patrick Mahomes, you look at his contract, it's a guaranteed as you go type of deal. It's not fully guaranteed. You look at a lot of these quarterbacks that are paid top 10, they are guarantees, right? Or guaranteed, but not fully guaranteed. So I think when we talk about stuff like this and we are talking about contracts, I think a lot of people, I hear a lot of people on podcasts not explaining things right. You have to know how the contract works in the NFL, because it's different from actually talking about Lamar Jackson, the player, and what he is as a player, top 10 quarterback in the league, electrifying, talented. But when you talk about contracts and what's really holding up, the reason why we're talking about this in the first place is the contract. We have to understand how the contract works. And right now, the price tag is too high.
Yeah, I think I absolutely agree with the price tag being extremely high. I don't think it's anything else outside of the price tag because we all know what Lamar Jackson is as a talent, as a football player. He brings wins, and that's one thing off the rip. As a football player, he brings wins to any team he goes to. In my personal opinion, I believe he takes any team to the playoff. You could put him on any team in the NFL, and they are a playoff team off his impact alone. So the price tag is not predicated on that. It's about what he's trying to accomplish. He's trying to get paid more than another man, another quarterback in the NFL, but no team is as desperate as the Cleveland Browns currently because they saw what happened when they did that. They saw what happened when the Broncos traded their draft picks for Russell Wilson. Organizations are right now more than ever are more aware of what happens when you pull the trigger too quickly and you go after a top talent, you lose your assets. And what happens? You could possibly lose out on high draft picks, marquee players in the future because you wanted to get Lamar Jackson right now when you're not ready to get a player in that caliber. And a lot of teams that were quote unquote in the running, quote unquote, have the possibilities to go after them, maybe we're like, do we really want to give up this much capital right now in a situation where when we're stuck with him, that's it. Everything's guaranteed. 250 million or 250, probably more, 260, 270 million, 251 million. It could be the possibilities are endless. And I think something that Lamar Jackson needs to look at is something similar to Patrick Mahomes' deal, like you stated. Each year, it's guarantees as you go. Patrick Mahomes, him going to the Super Bowl only guaranteed him more money. So something in that nature where Lamar Jackson is going to sign a contract where as he plays, he gets more guarantees, whether it's rushing yard incentives, passing touchdown incentives, passing yards incentives, all pro incentives, playoff incentive, like AFC championship, Super Bowl, it's like stuff in that nature where it's only going to guarantee you more money. So you got to push further to get to that point, but also give the organization what they want, which is banners, which is Super Bowls. That's something that Lamar Jackson needs to look at because he's his own agent when he is disclosing and discussing these contract talks. Not saying that he's not worth $250 million. A lot of people feel that way. I don't feel that way. I feel like if you're a guy who impacts winning, you're worth the money because you're on the football field creating wins. But right now, teams are not willing and not ready to give up that kind of money because that time already passed. That time passed with the Cleveland Browns and Deshaun Watson. That time passed with the Denver Broncos trading for Russell Wilson. And I have to concede to Lil because he stated this in many shows. It's a little bit saying this for many shows that, Lamar Jackson asking price is a little high and organizations are not willing to give him that. There's a lot of different reasons why, and there's a lot of situations. Like I know he mentioned the Jets in the past. Why wouldn't you go after him opposed to Aaron Rodgers? Woody Johnson is going 10 toes down on not only getting Aaron Rodgers, but developing Zach Wilson. He is 10 toes down on doing this venture. I don't know why. I guess he doesn't want to look foolish. He doesn't want to look like a buffoon and want to have one of the most busted players of all time conversation with Zach Wilson. But this is what he is venturing off doing. He is stuck on getting Aaron Rodgers, and hopefully he develops Zach Wilson to the point where he can replace Aaron Rodgers once he's gone. That is their mission right now. That's what they're focused on. Other teams, I'm surprised they're not going after it. I'm surprised that the Commanders are sticking with Sam Howell and Jacoby Brissett opposed to going after Lamar Jackson, and they could potentially take that division for years with Eric Bieniemy as the offensive coordinator. There's a lot of teams out there that I'm shocked. Atlanta Falcons, another one that came out and said, "Oh, Lamar Jackson is a hell of a player, but we're gonna stick with Desmond Ridder." Excuse me? It's a lot of stuff like that I'm confused on. All right, so how the heck are you a team that could potentially take the division away, but you're saying you don't want to go after it because what? There's no excuse for it. It's really weird how situations like that happen.
I think too, when you talk about teams like the Washington Commanders, and I'm not saying that I would rock out with Sam Howell. I'd rather rock out with an owl and then Sam Howell, to be honest with you. Ow! You know what I'm saying? Because look, I don't really know too much about this cat. I only seen him in one game, and a lot of people overrate that game. Oh, he looked promising. No, he threw 2 interceptions, my guy. Ain't nothing promising about that just because he made one pass. But I think when you talk about quarterbacks on their rookie deals, a lot of people find that to be valuable in the NFL. And I concur because you look at the Bears and how they're able to build around Justin Fields. There was a reason why they stuck with Justin Fields. Why go after Lamar when I have a young quarterback who literally does the same thing Lamar Jackson does, and he's on his rookie deal? And I have like the highest cap space to build around him. And we saw what happened with Jalen Hurts, who a lot of people, including myself, I got to be honest about that, that had him 25 out of 32 quarterbacks in the NFL, and he almost wins the damn Super Bowl. So I think, you know, you can build around guys. Obviously, they have to be made out of that stuff. But I think when you talk about Lamar Jackson, yes, it's the price tag. But even if he finished out this season and wasn't hurt and got to a Super Bowl, I don't really think we having this conversation. I think he will get the money he wants. And a lot of people don't talk about that. Like, I'm big on being available. I have to look at things, yes, from a player perspective, because we have to, coincide and show gratitude towards the players. But also, I was a former businessman. I had my own business. I know what it is to be a businessman. I know how to be in that space. Like, as a businessman, you want me to shell out $250 million guaranteed in a salary cap league when I have the franchise tag available to me because the NFLPA keeps agreeing to it. That's why it's still in existence and I could use it. Why would I pay you $250 million guaranteed when the last 2 years down the stretch you were not available in the playoffs? And a lot of people, and I think it's unfair to the backup quarterback. I believe he's a free agent right now anyway. Snoop Huntley. I think it's unfair to him because a lot of people were saying, oh, he's not as good as Lamar. Yeah, we know that. He's not. Lamar Jackson is ultra talented. He's a talented quarterback. He might be the most talented. And I don't want y'all to confuse this term, talented, because talent and great is different. Patrick Mahomes is great. Tom Brady, great. Justin Herbert in the middle. Joe Burrow, great. But he's the most talented quarterback in the NFL, you can argue, is Lamar Jackson, right? So he's top 10 automatically. But I think when you talk about Snoop Huntley, a lot of people is like, oh, yeah, the Ravens going to suffer with him. Well, first of all, if the offense was crafted to fit Lamar Jackson, who can create an offense by himself as a rusher, and there's no number one wide receiver on this team, why would we think a pocket passer who's less mobile than Lamar Jackson will have success in the same exact offense that we criticizing? So I think if you're going to not pay Lamar Jackson, fine. Get you a bridge guy and Snoop Huntley already on your team. I believe he's a free agent. Sign him, build weapons, get D-Hop, and use him while you get the assets that you're going to get for Lamar and build around him for a year and get you your quarterback on a rookie deal. But if not, then we have to see what happens with Lamar. I don't only think it's price tag, like I said before. I think injury histories have a lot to do with it. And it makes this question a little bit harder to ask. But Dean.O, I'll pass it to you for your last take.
It really is a tricky topic because this is materializing deep into the offseason now, and there's still nothing really that's hitting on any front. But I feel like it's going to get sorted out in a way that we're not going to expect. I think the Ravens will not be bad with Huntley. Look, they were running neck and neck with the Bengals in that wild card game this year until the Bengals had a strip fumble, 99-yard recovery in the fourth quarter. So, the Ravens were right in there with them. They're not going to be bad without Lamar Jackson. They're still going to be a good squad. They got a good coach in Harbaugh, and they got a good team. But it's just going to be interesting to see where Lamar Jackson ends up and who's going to pay him what kind of money. Is he going to get a shorter deal? Is he going to get a longer deal? What's the guarantee going to be? Like, I really don't know at this point. It's a lot of unknowns right now, and we're just going to have to see what happens. But I wouldn't be surprised if something happens around the draft to when Lamar signs a deal or someone makes a trade for him.
Man.
And it involves some draft compensation. So, because
you talk about
them draft day deals, them draft day deals, they get a lot of stuff goes down on draft day. So I wouldn't be surprised if this drags out another month. And some teams, I do have to ask them, like, ask yourself, are we better off if we stay with what we got or if we go get Lamar? I feel like a lot of teams got some soul searching to do on that front.
Yo, Zay, before you get in here, I have one more question, but Dean.O, I would love to respond to that. That's a very great point because, this topic talking about Lamar, it doesn't seem like we have any instinct on how it's going to end. Because I can't tell you from a can of paint how this is going to end. I really can't. Even if I had to guess, like, is he going to stay with the team? Is he not going to play this year? Is he going to get traded? Is one of those teams going to bite? Is he going to sit out for a year and then 2 years after that? Is his career over? Will we see him play football again? Like, I don't know how this thing is going to end. But I like the point that you bring up about draft day. When everybody is keen in and focused on drafting guys out of college and all of their attention is over there, it seems like a perfect opportunity for an NFL team to creep and sneak and do a deal with the Ravens for Lamar Jackson, to me. But Zay and Dean.O, I will let you, Zay, respond to that draft day theory. But before you do, actually, I'm gonna give you another question to respond after that. We talk about collusion because a lot of people have brought up collusion. When you hear Jim Irsay's comments about he doesn't think guaranteed deals are good for the game. When you hear, all these owners, Meek Mill saying that Lamar Jackson wants to play for the Patriots and nothing is being done. I don't want to sign Lamar Jackson. We get that report. They don't want to sign Lamar. Do you think there's a plot in the NFL to make sure that these quarterbacks do not get these guaranteed deals that will set off the market for other quarterbacks down the line to get such deals?
I think this is the issue. I think Ursay and other owners are trying to keep this in a prehistoric times. We look at every other sport in the world. Everyone gets guaranteed deals except for the NFL for whatever reason. And we're seeing the owners are now being more frugal more than ever in regards to Deshaun Watson getting like guaranteed money. Shout out to his agents because they got him that money even when he was in legal trouble. They got him that money guaranteed in the escrow, in the account as soon as he touched down. That's ridiculous to say the least. But I say all that to say the owners not only are they wrong about players getting guaranteed deals, they need to make their contracts guaranteed fully with incentives added and everything else. Because like I said, they're the only sport that doesn't have fully guaranteed deals. They have all these incentive-based stuff. Even the NBA, they have more fully guaranteed deals than non-guaranteed deals. And this is getting a tad ridiculous with the NFL because we're hearing more than ever, year to year to year, there's more deals that are non-guaranteed. Majority of the deals are non-guaranteed, opposed to guys getting their full money in a ruthless sport, a sport where a lot of guys got paralyzed for life. A lot of guys didn't come back. A guy, thankfully, he had a recovery in Darnell Hamlin, who we almost possibly saw him pass away on the field during a live national game. And this is a kid who probably didn't even have guaranteed money. He probably had a non-guaranteed contract. And so there's a lot of different things where these owners are not really privy to what they're like. They're not trying to understand. They know they're not trying to understand. And that's the issue. Regards to the NFL draft trade, I think it could happen. I think one of these two teams could possibly pull up a package for Lamar Jackson, both in the NFC. One is the San Francisco 49ers. I've been saying it for a little while now. It'll be interesting if they get Lamar Jackson over there with McCaffrey and Deebo Samuel. They'll have to put an amazing package for him, but nonetheless, I think they can do it. This second team will have a lot of cap space once they trade this guy, and I think that's the Green Bay Packers. The Green Bay Packers are going to have a ton of cap space available to move for a guy like Lamar Jackson in a division that is still up for grabs. There's no guaranteed number one team in this division just yet, but I think the Green Bay Packers could pull some type of upset and bring in a Lamar Jackson alongside of if they keep Jones or A.J. Dillon on that team with Christian Watson and be able to build something. It'll be interesting to see if the Green Bay Packers were to make a maneuver in that sense because Matt LaFleur during the owners meeting doesn't sound too high on Jordan Love. Not one bit. Talking about we need to limit expectations when talking about Jordan Love. That's scary. When your coach is saying something like that and you're supposed to be the next starter, that is something I don't want to see on that football field. And maybe, just maybe, the owners are like, you know what? My coach is not really feeling Jordan Love. There's a superstar talent and quarterback that's available. He just wants his money. Let's see if we get a conversation in, and let's see if we can try to get something going in regards to a trade so that we could re-sign him in the future. I think that is something that could possibly happen between the Green Bay Packers and Lamar Jackson.
Yeah, I mean, I think we about ready to move off that topic. Like I said, it's going to be a fascinating topic. Furthermore, we're going to see what happens with Lamar Jackson going forward. I mean, look, man, you talk about them deals, man, them guaranteed deals. That's where the sticking point is. And I think the NFL, to talk about collusion as I end off, is to be determined. Jalen Hurts got to get his money, right? They just opened up contract talks with Justin Herbert. We got to look at his contract, see what he gets. If Joe Burrow doesn't get the fully guaranteed money, we got to look at that contract, and then we'll know if there's collusion. Because, like I said, Kyler got fully guaranteed. Russell Wilson got fully guaranteed. It wasn't $250 million guaranteed. It wasn't surpassing Deshaun Watson. So we have to see if one of these upcoming deals surpass Deshaun Watson. And if it doesn't, then I think we could come back to this collusion talk. Ladies and gentlemen, like and subscribe to the channel. Get them notifications, okay? Be patient. Give us 15 to 20 minutes of your time. And if you like what you see, stick around, like and subscribe to the channel. Get them notifications.